Good morning and welcome to Blackberry Ridge. It's Tuesday morning and I've been working out here in the garden since the sun was coming up. We're kind of sitting in what I call my sweet spot, and that is in the shady area where my corn, which is about 10 foot tall right now, um, blocks the sun and gives me a little place where I can take a bucket and sit down and just sort of enjoy some quiet time. While I've been out here working in the garden, I've been thinking about two different situations. And the first one is how Ambria and I got into the situation that we are in. Um, um, over a year ago, business closed, lost my job. But I'm one of these get my ducks in a row type girls. Um, so I had taken the money that was left over from the settlement when I had a serious accident, a bad accident, and that I used to build our homestead. And I took that money and and I had some of it left over. And then Aubrey and I had been saving furiously every penny that we could save for the things that we needed to finish up with. Those things would be like painting my house, getting the cement in the basement areas, the retaining walls so that the hill didn't come down on us, which it is now. Anyway, a lot of work. But one of the big part of the work was that I was going to have at the top of the hill a 30 by 40 building and put up there, cement floor, 30 by 40, and then I could have put in my quilting machine and I could take in quilts and do the quilting for people, and that would create an income for me and my daughter. Guy came by and needed the money up front. I know where this is going. He was reputable. He was a deacon in his church. His wife was a school teacher. The business had been in business for over 28 years. His daddy had run it before him. He was the chief of the volunteer fire department in the city where he lived, or in the area where he lived. I mean, this guy should have been up and up. His up and up right now is that he's sitting in jail, and that he swindled a whole lot of people, and I was one of those people. And so he took every penny that I had, every penny of our savings, every penny that we had left from the settlement, and left us high and dry and left us in a really bad situation. Now, I want you all to know, I do not want you to send us anything. We are okay. We will be okay. We always are okay, and we will be okay. We are not beggars. We are not bums, and we are not a charity case. So don't don't go sending me stuff, because you know we are not that kind of person, and that's not why I'm telling you this story. Matter of fact, I had thought for a long time about not letting anybody know what had happened to us until what had happened Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. I had gone to the Food City in Maynardville, where I download my videos. That's my office. The little food court that they have there at the Food City, and they graciously allow me to download my videos for y'all. And when we came back out to the car wouldn't start. I had noticed, excuse me, I had noticed the little rectangle, I guess you call it an idiot light or whatever, that has the plus and minus sign on it. And I'm thinking, oh no, the battery's fixing to go. Um, Surely I'm going to have enough time to where I can save a little bit of money, and I can get us a battery for the car. And I can keep it on the trickle charger, and we can keep it going. Well, we got out of the store, and we went to um, start the car, and it wouldn't start. So here I am with the hood up, going, what in the world am I going to do? Called a couple people, and all I ended up with was voicemail. So in the meantime, I saw this one gentleman late 20s, early 30s, who was walking across the parking lot towards his pickup truck. And I yelled over and I said, "You wouldn't by chance have some jumper cables where you can jump me off, do you?" And he said, no, he didn't, but one of his friends had, he'd just seen one of his friends in the store that he worked with, and he said, let me run in there and see if he's got some jumper cables. He did not need to do that. All he needed to have done was said no. But instead, he runs into the store to find his friend to see if his friend has jumper cables. So he comes back out of the store and he said, my friend doesn't have jumper cables, but he says where we work, they have some jumper cables, and I'm going to run down the road, and he says it's only about 10 or 15 miles, and I'm going to get the jumper cables for you. So while he's standing there, he's getting ready to walk over to his truck, and he's getting on the phone, and I'm sure he's probably calling his wife to tell his wife what is happening, or tell somebody what is happening. And this other gentleman, an older gentleman, calls over to me, and he said, dear, you ladies having car trouble. And I said, I need to have my car jumped off, and I don't have any jumper cables. And he said, well, I have jumper cables. Well, we had cars that had kind of surrounded us. So he was walking, and so we called over to the first guy. Okay, we called over to the first guy, and we told him that we had jumper cables. So he said, you know, well, you're going to be okay. And the other guy, the older gentleman, said, I'll take care of her. So he goes, and so we're walking around, and we're trying to figure out how he can maneuver his vehicle to get it in so that he can jump me off. In the meantime, the person who was parked right in front of me comes out. It's a lady, and she's seeing what we're doing, and she says, I'll tell you what. She said, why don't you just go ahead and jump it off of my car since I'm right here anyway? Can you believe that? So that's three people that didn't have to do anything to help us, and God bless them, they did. So we get the car jumped off, and we're heading north, and we're heading towards the house. And I told Ambria, I said, if I get to the house, we're going to have to put this on the trickle charger to get some juice in it to where I can get us to where we can get a battery. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I just do not feel comfortable with this situation at all. So by this time now, it's getting to be like 9 o'clock, and it's starting to get dark. And so I'm thinking, oh, why don't we just go ahead and go up into Tazewell and go to the little Walmart that's there, and we'll get us a battery there. We'll just go ahead and take care of it. So I'm going up the road, and it's about, I don't know, 20, 30 miles. I don't know. It's a while, though, to get there. And right as we get to the front of the Walmart, the car that was in front of me slowed down to stop, and I had to hit my brake pedal. Now, I had not been running any lights or anything because I was terrified I was going to run out of battery power. So I go and I have to tap the brakes to stop, and when I did, the car starts to jolt, she's losing power. So I was able to swing into the driveway and kind of coast partway down the hill, and then I had to go and try to push old lady me, had to try to push the car, and I kind of got it where I was kind of kitty womp in the middle of their driveway, the middle of their parking lot, kitty womp in it, and it's getting dark, and it's like, So I tell Ambria, stay in the car, I'm going to run in, I'm going to get us a battery. And she goes, well, I don't know how I can go anywhere else. So I run into the store, literally run into the store, and I get back to the area where they have the batteries, and I can't find anybody to help me. So I hear somebody having paint mix. I know this is getting long, but anyway, I heard paint being mixed. So I go right around the corner there to where the paint mixing area is, and there was a young couple that was there and getting paint, and I asked him, the guy that was mixing the paint, can you get me some help in the batteries? And he said, just give me just a minute. And I said, oh, please hurry, because my car is literally parked in the middle of your parking lot, and I'm afraid I'm going to get a ticket. He's like, oh, okay. So he said, I'll be right there. So the young man that was there, his name was Brandon. The young man that was there, he looked over at his wife, her name's Murdy, and he said, honey, do you mind? I want to help this lady. And she says, no, go ahead. So he goes over, and, he starts trying to look through the book and try to figure out what kind of a battery it is that I need. we'll look to see how much money I have, and we're trying to figure out, which battery I can get with the money that I have on me. And he said, let me tell you what, he said, let's go on out to your car. So he goes out to the car, and he helps get Ambria out, and we try to push the car, but we couldn't even get it into neutral, because it's got some kind of a lock system or something on the gear shift anyway, we couldn't even get it in neutral. So now at this time this gentleman had probably taken 15 minutes of his time with his wife in there waiting with her paint. We go back into the store, and we have Ambria with us, because he said, somebody comes and they hit this car, they could hurt your daughter. And he's absolutely correct. So we get Ambria in the store, and we're talking, it's not like right there by, it's like we're having to go, several hundred yards to get into the store. We get in there. Now, just to make a long story short, this young man not only helped me figure out what battery that I needed, but because Walmart doesn't install batteries, he bought the ratchet set that was needed to change out the battery. He got the battery in there, and then he said, the more you're telling me about this, the more I'm thinking it's your alternator. So he goes and he takes the ground off. He has me start the car, and he tests, pulls the ground off, well, the car immediately dies. Okay, so then he proceeds to show me, tell me, you need to get home. We exchanged telephone numbers. His wife at this time had come out. They were adamant that no matter what happened, no matter what time I got home, that they wanted me to text. They wanted to follow me. They live the absolute opposite direction from where I live. And things out here in the country aren't close. It's not like, a mile down the road. We're talking, they wanted to follow me home to make sure I was going to get home okay. I didn't know it at the time, but the tool that he had bought, the ratchet set, he had gone ahead and he had handed it to Ambria. He said, have your mama hang on to this. She can get it back to me later. So if she has to change out the battery. He told me about putting the batteries on the trickle charger. He taught me how to change out the batteries if I needed to keep the other battery as a spare battery in the car. And then he proceeded to give me the name and the telephone number of a gentleman that works very inexpensively, and that's what he does, is rebuild alternators and starters. So he gave me his information. And on top of that, now they have texted me back just to make sure that we are still okay. Now, we're talking that's 5 people. Okay, that one person that I first started talking about, I pray for him. Adam, if you're watching this, I pray for you. I'm sorry. Adam, you didn't do us right. But I'm not going to judge you. What I'm going to do, though, is that I'm going to pray for you. I can't go backwards. I can only go forwards, and I can only do what I have to do to make things right here on our property. And if that means me taking my short-handled shovel and a 5-gallon bucket and my little wagon and me digging the trenches behind our house, trying to keep this hill from coming down on us, then that's what I'm going to do. And we're just going to go forward. So, Adam, I do pray for you. And I hope that one day you will come and you will make things right by other people. That you'll sort of do the 12-step program like they have in AA or something. And I'm not crying because of Adam. I'm crying because of these 5 good people that took time out of their day and helped us. Okay. There are good people out there. So anyway, need to get back to work on the garden so we can have us some food. As always, God bless America. Pray for our country. It's Vivian Ann on the side of the mountain in Northeast Tennessee. Yeah, it's a beautiful day.